It's Turkey Tuesday and you're watching Ontario Turkey TV. I'm Amy and today I'm in Norwich, Ontario on a family-run turkey farm with Claire and Catherine Doan. Thanks for having me here today.
Glad you could come.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
So we want to bring you, the viewers, behind the scenes onto the Doan family farm and into their turkey barns so that you can see how turkeys are raised and all the efforts that go into what you get to see, the end product in the grocery store or local butcher shop. What made you get into raising turkeys?
We started turkey farming 10 years ago now, and I've always had a love for poultry, and as a little boy had chickens on the farm, and I always knew at some point we'd build a poultry operation.
So this is your family here, you and your children, first generation turkey farmers?
Absolutely. So we bought our farm here in 2006, and then in 2009, before we had children, Catherine and I built our first turkey barn and started raising heavy tom birds for the further processing market.
So Catherine, Claire, and I, we want to hear from you. So if you're watching, write in the comments below. I'll make sure I answer back, and then they're going to help me with any tough questions. When it comes to animal welfare and taking care of turkeys, I noticed there's some signs on the property that say stop before you enter. What are some of the reasons for that so that we keep the turkeys safe and healthy?
So I think one of the things that we look forward to today is to take you actually behind those signs. And the reason the signs are up there really is just to prevent unwanted or unnecessary visitors from coming in and getting too close to the barns, because we want to have control over who has access to our livestock, because it's they're living animals, and we just want to have tight control over the interactions, because we want to keep them as healthy as possible so that we can deliver that good quality turkey that many farmers want to have.
Because it is as simple as just walking in with your outdoor shoes that could cause something, right?
It's just one way of being preventative and monitoring and managing who comes and gets close to our livestock.
Catherine, do you have anything to add to that?
I think it's something similar to on the weekend. We were at our local pool and we had to sign in order to go into the facility. It's a simple precaution to be able to track and see who is at your operation. And again, our goal is to raise healthy turkeys. So it's a simple thing to keep track and make sure that we know who is on our farm.
Turkeys get different care at different stages. What is the age you have on the farm now?
We have 10-day-old poults that came in a week ago Friday, hatched that very morning, and they stay in our brooder barn, which is really a barn which is tightly controlled with ventilation. It's very warm and comfy for those turkeys in those early days to really gain and get accustomed to the feed and the water systems, and they spend the first 5 weeks in this particular barn. And then the other set of turkeys that we have on our farm here are 14-week-old birds. Those birds were moved at 5 weeks of age into what we call our grow-out barn, and that's actually a curtain-sided, naturally ventilated barn. Very much, it's a barn with the birds being inside, but they very much enjoy the comfort and the environment of the outside world with regards to the curtains this time of year being completely down.
What goes into taking care of these turkeys? Do they have unlimited access to water? What are they eating?
So I think one of the greatest misconceptions is people think that these birds are raised in cages or they're extremely confined. So yes, our birds are confined to a barn, but we adhere to fairly regulated animal husbandry standards. So they all have adequate access to the floor space to be able to walk around. We have a significant number of waters and drinkers, so they have fresh access to quality water. And that water is tested on a weekly basis to make sure that it's of the highest quality that you and I can both drink it. That's what we expect for our turkeys to be able to have. And the same thing for fresh feed. So our feed comes from an independent feed mill that we work with, and they're on a diet that has the adequate nutrients and vitamins and minerals so that the birds are as healthy as they possibly can be.
And I know when we show some of the clips of the inside of the barn, sometimes people are surprised at how many turkeys are in a barn and how close together they are, but they actually prefer it that way.
Well, absolutely, and I think what you'll find, especially in the early stages here, that the birds want to be able to wander around the barn. And as much as there may be over 5,000 birds in each of the barns, they like the company of each other. And so when we come in, they love to follow me around, and they're very inquisitive animals by nature, which is actually one of the things that we enjoy about turkeys, because they spend over 4 months on the farm here, so they certainly are familiar with who I am and the people that are coming into the barn every day.
A healthy turkey is one that comes and greets you at the door. So when they first arrive on the farm, it's a pretty exciting time, obviously, for our children. They partake in helping us with making sure that they get acclimatized to the barn, and then making sure that there's dry, obviously, bedding, Claire mentioned about the heat, but also air quality, to make sure that the air quality is quite good for them. And just a barn environment that we would want to work in with our kids is where we raise our turkeys.
There we have it. Our turkey farmers want the best, healthiest quality turkeys that they can get, and it's very important, that quality control across the board. I know there's a lot of general misconception around antibiotic use and hormones and steroids. How would you answer that question?
Well, we can certainly assure you that there's absolutely no added hormones or no added steroids that are fed to our turkeys here on our farm here in Ontario, or for any turkey farms for that matter here across the country. Having said that, our birds at times are raised with antibiotics depending on the health and the condition of the birds, because that's what we care about absolutely the most, is to make sure that our birds are healthy. And it's not about overusing or overprescribing the use of these medications, but really using them with the recommendation of a veterinarian, because we cannot administer any sort of a medication unless there's been a third-party vet that has recommended that. So that's why our birds are under constant care, and we try to provide as much preventative care for those birds by way of healthy feed, healthy water, healthy environment. But like you or I, from time to time, we do get sick, and in a reactive measure, we do medicate our birds, but I can assure you that every single piece of protein that is sold into our markets here today are free of antibiotics. We have extremely high requirements to make sure that those antibiotics are free and out of the bird systems before they ever reach the market. This is something that we've really noticed in the last 10 years of our business here, is that the use of antibiotics is diminishing over time and time again, in part because we know that science says that the birds don't always need it, but also the fact that consumers are asking for it. They want minimal use of antibiotics, and that's something that as an industry we're certainly adopting rigorously.
No animal can leave our farm with antibiotics in their system. So when you go to the grocery store or your local market, you can be assured that when you buy that piece of turkey, in no matter what form it is, there are no antibiotics in that piece of protein.
What are some of the challenges that farmers face in Ontario?
Well, I think one of the greatest examples is the weather that we have faced this spring, but also the fact that we're growing turkeys here in Canada. So we have 4 very distinct seasons, and today is an absolutely beautiful day, but we've had some very hot weather, and 6 months from now we'll have some extremely cold weather. So dealing with those environmental challenges of making sure the barns are always as comfortable for the birds is something that's our top priority, but it does take a lot of attention to that detail to make sure that those birds are continually comfortable.
Catherine?
I think it's one of those things we chose to become farmers. Yes, there are challenges, but and there's days that you really do question why you've become a farmer, because like Claire mentioned, it doesn't just turn off. You can't just say, by the way, I'm putting my out of office on today, I can't check the birds, because again, they're reliant on us for all needs, whether it be water, food, bedding, air quality. So in that respect, again, the biggest challenge is just making sure that you can balance everything with still raising top quality birds, because ultimately that's why we got into farming, to work with our family and make sure that we have a good product.
I think I want to talk about a challenge that consumers face, which is finding cuts of turkey in the grocery store. We get that question a lot on the Ontario Turkey Facebook page. Catherine, how would you suggest our viewers approach that?
Sure, that's actually a great question. I'm very passionate about that. When we got into turkey production 10 years ago, it was a bit of a challenge for me on a daily basis when I went grocery shopping to look for turkey in the grocery store. Last night, I thought, on the way home from baseball, I took my daughter to the superstore. We bought every turkey product that was available, and there was about 25 different options. I feel like that's really great progress that we've seen over the last 10 years. It's another thing that as a consumer, we just really want you to be able to go into the grocery store, and if you don't see turkey, ask for it. It's as simple as finding the meat manager and saying, hey, I'm looking for ground turkey, or I'm looking for turkey burgers, and hey, these are great turkey burgers from the US, but I know of a local producer just down the road, so could you perhaps bring some of that awesome Canadian turkey into your grocery store?
There's no better way to support your local farmers than to get out there and ask for the products you're looking for. What's the best part or the most fun about working on a farm? Being
able to live in this environment, show our children what it means to work hard for what they are able to earn and have. I used to think as a kid when your dad would harp on you as following instructions, Can you follow instructions? Can you listen to what you're being told? Those are key skills that no matter where they go in life, whether it is farming or not, they'll be able to take those skills and utilize them. So it really is fun to see our children grow up here, be able to understand what it means to grow a bird, to not just have them arrive, but the full process that they have to go through, and then to be able to enjoy turkey at a meal, which you'll probably ask them later, but they definitely enjoy eating turkey. So it's just fun to see the full cycle.
Is it hard to manage the 4 children around the farm, or are they pretty helpful and respectful of the whole farming process?
Of course, it's hard sometimes with 4 kids under 9, but even this morning, helping prepare for you to come, they were helpful because they know that that's part of the deal. You work hard, but you play hard. So, yeah.
Family is at the heart of your farm here, so let's bring the girls in. Hey girls, welcome to Ontario Turkey TV.
Hi.
Can you introduce yourself and tell me your age?
I'm Carmen and I'm 9 years old.
Hi, I'm Fred and I'm 5 years old.
Hi, I'm Sophia and I'm 7 years old.
And this is Adele, and she will be 2 in October.
2 years old? Wow, so what are some of your jobs on the farm?
We like to move the turkeys from each barn.
Yeah? What else do you do on the farm?
I help get the straw put on the bottom.
Oh, that's a very important job. Do you help clean?
Yeah, and we also help feeding the little ones.
What are some of the funny things that turkeys do?
Gobble gobble.
Oh, gobble, gobble, gobble. That's what they sound like. And what are some of your favorite turkey dinners that your parents make for you?
Turkey bacon.
Oh, that's a good one. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Oh, yeah. What about you? What's your favorite?
Turkey hot dog.
Ooh, hot dogs. Nice.
Turkey burgers.
Those are all good choices. It's fair to say we've learned a lot today. It's so wonderful to meet our local Ontario farmers and know where our food is coming from. And I especially love what high standards we have in Ontario and that our turkeys are being raised with pride and care. Thanks so much, but we gotta go. So we'll see you all next time.
On Turkey TV.